Ladies and gentlemen, brace yourselves, because what unfolded today at Manila's International Airport was far bigger than a simple arrival. This was not just another headline scrolling across your screen. This was a moment that crossed into something deeper, something emotional, something cultural. What we witnessed defied expectations, overturned assumptions, and once again proved that when it comes to passion, loyalty, and heart, Filipino sports fans stand in a league of their own. Wherever you're watching from, good morning, good evening, and welcome to this special coverage. I'm your host, and tonight we take you inside a scene of raw emotion, overwhelming love, and history in the making. A moment that showed the world that in the Philippines, we don't only celebrate champions who lift trophies. We celebrate those who carry our colors, our dreams, and our flag. Reports and videos poured in almost instantly from Terminal 3. Airport employees, travelers, security personnel, and ordinary citizens were caught completely off guard. What they expected to be a routine day turned into controlled chaos. This was the homecoming of the undisputed face of Philippine tennis, the 20-year-old trailblazer, the standard-bearer of a new generation, Alexandra Eala. But here's the part no one saw coming, the part that left international media stunned, and even Alexandra herself visibly emotional and shaken. Traditionally, a grand welcome is saved for victory parades. We roll out red carpets after titles are won. We celebrate when gold medals hang from necks and trophies are raised overhead. And to be clear, Alexandra Eala is a champion in every sense of the word. She is a SEA Games gold medalist. She is a U.S. Open Junior champion. She is a recognized athlete of the year. But today, she returned to Manila not after lifting a trophy, but after enduring a painful, exhausting, and emotional exit from the Australian Open in Melbourne. She arrived after a hard-fought first-round battle where she gave everything she had but fell short against Alicia Parks. For any athlete, defeat can feel crushing. Losses linger. They echo in your head long after the match ends. On that long flight back from Australia, it's easy to imagine the doubts creeping in. Did I disappoint them? Will people still show up? Will it be quiet when I land? Ladies and gentlemen, the response from the Filipino people came thunderously the moment those automatic doors slid open. The answer was a resounding, earth-shaking no. Alexandra Eala did not step into silence. She walked straight into a roar. A surge of sound, emotion, and affection crashed over her like a wave. Witnesses say the crowd was so dense, so loud, and so charged with energy that it felt as though she had just captured an entire Grand Slam title. Passengers froze mid-step. Phones went up. Airport security formed a human wall, not to stop anger, but to manage love. Pure, unfiltered admiration. The shock was written all over her face. The widened eyes, the pause, the hand instinctively covering her mouth. This was not rehearsed. This was not staged. This was real. She was overwhelmed by a welcome she never expected. Because the Philippines understands something the rest of the world is only beginning to grasp. Alexandra Eala is not just an athlete. She is a symbol. She embodies the fighting spirit of more than 100 million Filipinos. She represents proof that a young woman from Quezon City can stand shoulder to shoulder with the world's best, on the courts of the Rafa Nadal Academy, on the clay of Paris, on Wimbledon's grass, and on the hard courts of New York. This moment wasn't simply an arrival. It was a declaration that Filipinos stand by their own, win or lose. A declaration that she returned not defeated, but determined. Because the real headline isn't just that Alexandra Eala came home. The real headline is why she came home. She arrived to headline a historic first, the inaugural Philippine Women's Open, the country's first ever WTA 125 tournament. World-class tennis is coming to Manila, and she is leading the charge. So settle in, because we're going deeper. We're breaking down how this moment came to be. We're examining the psychology behind a crowd that erupted despite defeat. We're revisiting the heartbreak in Melbourne that quietly set the stage for a powerful redemption arc. We'll talk about the decades-long drought she ended at the SEA Games. We'll talk about pressure, fame, expectations, the Nadal connection, and what lies ahead. This is not just a sports story. This is a story about identity, pride, and belief. This is the story of Alexandra Eala's return. To truly grasp the scale of what happened today in Manila, we have to rewind just days earlier to Melbourne Park, the Australian Open, the first Grand Slam of the season. Expectations around Alexandra were sky-high, borderline astronomical. She had just completed a breakout year. She had cracked the world's top 50. She was coming off a golden SEA Games campaign, and the Filipino community in Australia, large and passionate, was ready. What happened there caught tournament organizers off guard. Alexandra was initially scheduled on Court 6, a standard mid-size court for a first-round match. But they underestimated one thing: the Eala effect. Hours before match time, lines stretched endlessly. Fans wrapped in Philippine flags, dressed in red, blue, and white, packed the area. Many were turned away. Inside the court, it didn't feel like tennis. It felt like a championship bout. Every winner was met with thunderous cheers. The match began like a dream. Alexandra played fearless tennis. Locked in, focused, she dominated the first set 6-0, dismantling her opponent. The crowd was electric. Momentum was on her side. But tennis is unforgiving. Momentum shifts. In the second set, Alicia Parks raised her level. Bigger serves, heavier shots. Alexandra began to feel the strain. Errors crept in. The second set slipped away. The third became a grind, but the tide had turned. The match ended there. Now imagine the weight of that moment. 20 years old, carrying national hopes. Thousands cheering your name. A dream start followed by heartbreak. Alexandra admitted later that while the support lifted her, it also made the loss hurt deeper. She left Melbourne feeling she had fallen short. She expected a quiet return home. Instead, Manila erupted. Why? Because Filipino fans see the bigger picture. They remember what she's done. They know what she represents. They remember the U.S. Open Junior title, the first ever by a Filipino. They remember her speaking in Tagalog, dedicating it to the nation. They remember the 26-year SEA Games drought she ended. They remember her stepping into pressure and delivering. Back at Terminal 3, the details matter. She didn't sneak out a side exit. She walked through the main doors. OFWs, families, airport workers, all converged. When she appeared, luggage in hand, tired and jet-lagged, the chant rose. Her parents stood beside her, visibly emotional. Officials were present, but it was the people who took center stage. One sign summed it all up. Proud of you, Alex. No conditions. No qualifiers. Just pride. She stopped. She signed. She smiled. And in that moment, she understood something powerful. You don't have to win every match to be embraced. You just have to fight. And make no mistake, this isn't a vacation. Alexandra Eala is back on Philippine soil with purpose. She's here to headline a historic tournament that brings the world tour home. The courts are ready. The fans are ready. And the country is watching. She is doing for tennis what legends did for their sports, bringing it into the mainstream, inspiring kids, filling seats, and changing conversations. The pressure is immense. But she has been prepared for this life. Trained in Spain, guided by champions, shaped by adversity. Filipinos didn't see a loss in Melbourne. They saw heart. They saw courage. And that is what they celebrated today. As we close, remember this moment. A young woman stunned by love. A nation standing behind its own. A signal to the world that the Philippines doesn't just show up. We believe. For Alexandra Eala, this welcome is fuel. And for the country, this is just the beginning. The Queen has returned. The fighter is home. And the future is wide open. Thank you for joining us. I'm your host, signing off. Have a sound sleep and good night.